This video contains no story mission spoilers for Renegades, but does show gameplay of new Renegades activities. Hello gamers and welcome back to part something of my ongoing series. I played with new exotics before you, Nana Nana Boo Boo. Today, we are covering the 3 exotic weapons coming with Renegades. Service of Luzaku, Heirloom, and the Praxic Blade. We're going to start with Service of Luzaku, which is probably my favorite of the 3. This is a support frame machine gun, so power weapon slot, which can spawn threadling nests. When you get a kill, you will spawn a threadling nest, which will spawn threadlings over time. This effect has some sort of internal cooldown. I've seen nests form after a few seconds. I've seen it be much longer than that, but point is, spawning a nest is on some sort of internal cooldown. You can then shoot the nest with hip fire to restore its health, aka the red timer that is going to be ticking down as it stays spawned. You can have multiple nests active at a time. Any hip fire shots fired that heal a target, whether it's the nest or an ally, do not consume ammo, but you still need to generate that healing energy meter in order to be able to heal. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but it boils down to get some kills, spawn some nests, keep them active as long as possible. As far as an exotic weapon goes in terms of the fantasy that it is trying to deliver, I absolutely loved using this weapon. It creates a fun gameplay loop of trying to spawn nests in good spots while keeping them alive for as long as possible to continuously spawn threadlings and letting them do their thing. We covered threadlings in a previous video where I said Prismatic Warlock was technically better for threadling builds because they had more survivability, but I found Strand to be more enjoyable to play because you could actually build into threadlings. I did not really get to play with this weapon in super high level content or anything, but it was a lot of fun in the stuff that I did get to play. Not to mention that the free healing, like no ammo usage, is really, really awesome. This is the first time where I've actually wanted to use a support frame weapon in just a regular piece of content. I do have a couple of notes though. Number one is that this is more of a lockdown an area kind of weapon. The whole point is to spawn threadling nests and keep them up. If you're in a more traditional piece of content where you're constantly pushing forward, maybe like an old school strike, then you're never really going to be able to make good use of the weapon's main capability. There's nothing wrong with using it as a healing or support weapon though, if you really want to do that. Number two is that if you're looking for something to be hyper efficient at taking out targets, then this weapon is probably not going to be for you. The playstyle that you need to adopt with this thing is a bit of a slower pace. The whole point is to let all the spawn threadlings do all of the work for you while you keep the nests active. That doesn't always translate to very high pace gameplay. Yes, you could just use a normal machine gun and get rid of everything yourself and then probably do a little bit faster than you could with this thing, although I didn't really get to test damage numbers that much. You also might run into situations in group play where you simply can't get anything rolling because the people on your team are so bloodthirsty that the threadlings fail to do much. The catalyst for this thing allows you to turn your nests into tangles by fully maturing them, which I assume to mean keep the nest alive long enough and it will turn into a tangle. On Strand Warlock, this can be used in conjunction with the Wanderer and even the new exotic armor that they're getting, which I've talked about in a different video, to massively boost your ability to suspend targets. This setup has a good amount of potential actions per minute as a result, so if you're into having a lot of options at your disposal, you might want to take a look at this. However, I could see this being overwhelming for some players as well, since sometimes it can feel like there is too much stuff to do and you can't get to all of it. Overall, even if this is not the best exotic, I love it so much. It is visually awesome, it's a fun weapon, it's a fun gameplay loop, and I hope people give it a chance. I would love to do a build video on it, even if I kind of just did one right now. Next, we have Heirloom, which is categorized as a bow, but it acts a bit more like a sniper rifle or a crossbow type weapon. Functionally, this thing is very simple. It fires big, explosive bolts, it can stun unstoppable champions, and aiming down sights for certain periods of time will power up the bolt to do more damage and have a bigger explosion. There are 3 levels to the charge. The longer you aim, the bigger the buff. The catalyst makes it so direct hits with charged shots scorch the target, and the weapon deals more damage to scorched targets. I did not get to mess around with the catalyst at all, but it is nice that there is some build crafting tech that is possible with this weapon. What kind of damage boosts are we looking at with your charged up shots? Uncharged, we are doing 1005 damage with both impact and explosion added together. 1 bar of charge is 1263 damage, so about a 25% boost. 2 bars is 1570 damage, so about 57%. And a full charge results in 2169 damage, over 100% over the base uncharged shot. The AoE on the full charge shot is pretty large. This target frame that is 10 meters away took damage from it, although in some other farther away shots they didn't, so I'm not exactly sure of the exact radius of the explosion. You'll also notice the massive self-damage that I took from the shot being only 5 to 6 meters away. That is something that you're going to want to watch out for. Uncharged shots consume about 12% heat, with fully charged being 50%. So you're only going to be able to get 2 shots off before you need to vent this weapon, unless you fire pretty slowly. Otherwise, there's not really that much nuance to this weapon. You shoot it in whatever mode that you want to, given the situation that you're in at your targets. You do really want to be careful full charging this thing at enemies close up, because you will take a lot of self-damage as a result. However, full charge, I think, should be used sparingly, or in times where you know you're going to get very high value out of it. I would probably just burn like 2 or 3 single low or no charge shots for single target purposes. As a solo, you're also really susceptible to attack when charging this thing. You got to play pretty far back to make sure you're not getting flinched or anything like that. Like, the content I'm doing right now is not exactly the greatest for this weapon, because there's a lot of close range stuff happening. This is sort of the opposite of Luzaku's. It's a bit better for more linear environments where you can start very far away from your targets. It's not impossible to use or anything in stuff like the Lawless Frontiers though, especially if you're playing with other people. But otherwise, this thing is as point and shoot as they come. Finally, we have the Praxic Blade, aka our version of the lightsaber. You're going to get this thing pretty early on in Renegades, and the goal over the long term is to get all the upgrades and all the features for it. I can talk about a few things, but I can't really show too much. Like, I can't really show the menu or anything. First off, this is a special ammo using sword in the kinetic slot. It can do the kinds of things you would expect a weapon like this to do, like being able to throw it and being able to block and reflect shots. There are multiple throw attacks. Press the button to throw the blade and have it hit multiple targets and come back to you. Press and hold to just send it in a straight line, and then release the button to call it back to you. Guarding with the sword uses sword energy and reflects damage back at targets. Now, historically, reflecting damage has been terrible in Destiny and pretty much never worth doing. However, the Praxic Blades reflect damage is actually not too bad. Probably the first time that I've ever considered reflecting damage to try to hit a target. It's not going to be that much better than just swinging the sword, but you can actually get some enemies down with the damage reflection, which is nice. You also have a combo attack. 3 light attacks followed by a heavy does a spinning slam attack for some extra damage. The blade can also... And finally, we have the glow of the blade itself, with there being a bunch of different colors that are all obtained in different ways in Renegade's content. Pretty much every modification I just talked about drops in Renegade's content in some form or another. I'm just not allowed to say where or how or show menus or anything, so you're just going to have to wait and see. In terms of actually using the blade, I mean, it's a sword. I think we're all pretty familiar with how swords work in Destiny. I will say that it did feel somewhat inconsistent at times with the throwing attack. Sometimes it feels like the blade would recall back to my hand with an enemy right in front of me, and the enemy would take no damage or just not get hit by it at all. Melee attacks were fine, or as fine as sword melee attacking normally is in the game. I do like the ability to build into different subclass effects here too, many of them being debuffs applied to enemies like Sever and Slow. You can customize this thing so much to your liking, and I think sword enjoyers are really going to have a fun time maxing this thing out. It being special ammo also allows for way more frequent use, although I didn't really get into any sort of nitty-gritty damage testing versus other heavy swords. That's your little weapon preview for Renegades. Overall, mostly good stuff here, in my opinion. Really looking forward to using Luzaku's machine gun, though. Let me know what you are interested in using. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.